Hey there, and welcome back to English and Ease. I'm Emily, your host, and today we're diving into a topic that could completely change the way you learn and use English. Let me ask you something. Have you ever met someone who speaks English so naturally? It's like they were born with it? Every sentence flows, there are no awkward pauses, and it just sounds effortless? Well, here's the secret they probably won't tell you. They've trained their minds to think in English. And guess what? You can absolutely do the same. Thinking in English isn't some magic skill reserved for advanced learners. It's a habit, a mindset, a practice. And today, I'm going to walk you through exactly how it works, why it's so powerful, and how you can start doing it, no matter what level you're at right now. So, if you've been stuck in that frustrating loop where you know the words, but freeze when you try to speak, stay with me. This episode is for you. And hey, if this podcast helps you or speaks to something you're going through in your English journey, don't forget to subscribe and share it with a friend. You're not alone, and your progress matters. All right, let's get into it. Why thinking in English is so important. Let's start with this. Why does thinking in English even matter? Well, when you're learning a new language, especially one as complex and dynamic as English, one of the biggest obstacles isn't vocabulary or grammar, it's the translation habit. You know what I mean? You hear a word, you translate it into your native language. Then you think of a response in your native language and try to translate that back into English before you speak. Sound familiar? It's like trying to drive a car with the parking brake on. You're not just forming a sentence, you're doing double the mental work. That delay causes hesitation, uncertainty, and sometimes silence. But when you train your brain to think directly in English, everything changes. You skip that translation step entirely. You begin to respond instead of calculate. You feel the language rather than assemble it like a puzzle. And that, my friend, is a game changer. How thinking in English helps you learn faster. Thinking in English doesn't just help with speed. It reshapes how you understand the language at its core. For example, when you start forming thoughts directly in English, you begin to notice how certain words naturally go together, what we call collocations. Phrases like make a decision or take a break start to feel more intuitive. You also get used to sentence structures and syntactic patterns without even realizing it. And if you're someone who wants to use idioms or casual expressions more naturally, things like hit the nail on the head or break the ice, thinking in English is the foundation that allows those to stick. Here's why. A lot of idioms don't make sense when translated. Spill the beans in your native language might sound confusing, but if you're used to thinking in English, the meaning becomes clear because you're not relying on word-for-word translation. You're thinking in context. It's about more than fluency. It's about confidence. Now let's talk about something even deeper, confidence. Thinking in English builds familiarity. It's like rehearsing silently all day long. You become more comfortable forming sentences. Your inner voice switches languages. And so, when it's time to speak out loud, at work, in class, in a cafe, you're ready. The words are already there. You've practiced them internally, so your brain isn't shocked or scrambling. And you know what else? This practice dramatically improves your listening comprehension, because if your brain is already tuned into English, you're not constantly converting what you hear. You're understanding the meaning in real time, not waiting for your inner translator to catch up. It's a smoother, more natural way of interacting with the language. It's about mindset, not just memorization. Language learning isn't only about memorizing words and definitions. It's about developing a linguistic mindset. When you immerse yourself in English, even if it's just inside your own thoughts, you create a space where the language lives and breathes in your everyday life. Whether you're walking to work, shopping for groceries, or doing the dishes, you can live in English mentally. And that brings you one step closer to fluency every single day. And here's the best part. You don't have to be fluent yet to start. Debunking the myths. I'm not good enough to think in English. Let's take a moment to clear up some common myths, because these beliefs can hold you back if you're not careful. The first one? I'm not advanced enough to think in English. Not true. Even if you only know 50 English words, you can still start forming short, simple thoughts like, I'm hungry, or it's raining. That's thinking in English. Don't underestimate it. You're building neural pathways, connections in your brain that strengthen every time you choose to think in English, no matter how simple the sentence. Here's another one. You need to live in an English-speaking country to really think in English. Nope. Not at all. Yes, immersion helps, but we live in a digital world. You can create your own immersive environment right at home. Podcasts, YouTube videos, English subtitles, music, audiobooks, online forums, you name it. The trick is intentional exposure. Choose to let English into your mind more often. Make space for it. What if I make mistakes? While thinking. Let me guess. You're worried about thinking incorrectly in English. You're not alone. Many learners fear that if they think in English and make mistakes, those mistakes will become habits. But let me ask you something. When a child learns their first language, do they always get it right the first time? Of course not. They try, fail, adjust. That's how all language learning works. Mistakes are part of the journey. When you think in English, your goal isn't perfect grammar, it's fluency of thought. It's about flow, not perfection. The grammar will improve with time. What matters now is building the mental habit of thinking in English. Final myth: thinking in English will make me forget my native language. You don't have to worry about that. Your brain is incredible. It's more than capable of managing multiple languages. In fact, switching between languages can actually improve your cognitive flexibility. Thinking in English isn't about replacing your first language. It's about expanding your ability to think and communicate across cultures. It's a skill, not a threat. In the next part, we're going to go even deeper into practical, real-life strategies you can start using today to train your brain to think in English. These techniques are simple, effective, and easy to make part of your daily life. So stay with me. We're just getting started. Let's take the next step together. Welcome back to English and Ease. I'm Emily, and I hope you're feeling inspired after our last conversation. If you're just joining, we've been talking about how to train your brain to think in English, a powerful skill that can unlock natural fluency and boost your confidence as a language learner. Now, it's time to get practical. In this part, I'm going to walk you through real strategies you can use starting today. These aren't complicated methods that require hours of study. These are small, manageable habits that fit into your daily routine, because consistency is key. So if you've got a notebook nearby, grab it. Let's build a daily system for thinking in English, together. 1. Label your environment. Let's start with something simple. Label the objects around you. Use sticky notes and write the English names of common things: your mirror, your phone, your fridge, your lamp, and stick them right on those objects. Why does this help? Because instead of mentally translating kai guang to mirror, your brain starts to recognize mirror as is. This strengthens direct word-object association, which is one of the key steps in thinking without translating. You're essentially rewiring your brain to see in English. It's subtle, but powerful. 2. Narrate your day in your head. The next strategy is one of my personal favorites: mental narration. From the moment you wake up, try to describe what you're doing in English, just in your head. You can say things like, I'm getting out of bed. I'm brushing my teeth. I'm making coffee. Keep it simple at first. Use words you already know. Over time, you can add more complexity. I didn't sleep well last night. It looks like it's going to rain today. I should reply to that email soon. This technique turns your ordinary routine into active English practice. Even if you're not speaking out loud, you're still building sentence structure, recalling vocabulary, and training fluency from the inside out. 3. Have mini conversations with yourself. Yes, you're officially allowed to talk to yourself. In fact, I recommend it. Create mini conversations in English. Pretend you're chatting with a friend, giving directions, or explaining something. For example, you see a cat in the street. You might think, "Oh, look at that cat, it's so fluffy. I wonder if it's hungry. What would I say to someone about this cat?" This exercise helps you develop contextual fluency. You're not just memorizing vocabulary, you're practicing how you might actually use it in real life. And the best part? You can do this anytime, anywhere. On the bus, in the shower, waiting in line. Your mind becomes your classroom. 4. Use vocabulary in your thoughts. Now, let's talk about building vocabulary the smart way. It's not enough to just memorize new words. You have to use them, especially in your thoughts. Let's say today, you learn the word delicious. Don't wait until your next English conversation to use it. Use it immediately, in your mind. This tea is delicious. I had a delicious lunch today. What's the most delicious food I've ever eaten? This internal repetition locks the word into your active vocabulary, not just your passive memory. Even better, try using academic words like opportunity, strategy, or consequence in your thinking. The more advanced the vocabulary you mentally rehearse, the stronger your language skills become. 5. Start a thought journal. Now here's a beautiful practice: journaling in English. At the end of the day, write a few sentences about your thoughts, your feelings, or your experiences, all in English. This helps in multiple ways. You build writing skills, you reinforce sentence structure, you reflect using English as your mental framework. It doesn't have to be perfect or long. Just try something like, "Today was a good day. I felt productive and calm. I had an argument with my coworker. I wish I had said things differently. I'm nervous about tomorrow's meeting, but I know I'm prepared." You're not just writing, you're thinking deeply in English. 6. Immerse with English media. Let's talk about immersion. You don't need to travel to the US or the UK to live in English. You can immerse your mind right where you are. Choose content you enjoy. TV shows, podcasts, like this one, YouTube channels, songs, audiobooks. And while you're listening or watching, think actively. What does that expression mean? How would I respond in that situation? Could I say that phrase naturally? This kind of interactive listening turns passive input into active engagement. And if you're watching with subtitles, try to wean off them slowly. Watch once with English subtitles, then again without. Let your brain get used to absorbing meaning without relying on translation. 7. Practice with music. Music is one of the most underrated tools in language learning. Pick a song you like in English. Listen to it carefully. Focus on the lyrics, the pronunciation, the rhythm. Try to sing along, even if you don't sound perfect. Music teaches you intonation, connected speech, and natural phrasing, all of which are crucial when thinking in English. Plus, it's fun. And when learning feels fun, you remember more. 8. Use the shadowing technique. If you're a bit more advanced, or just feeling ambitious, try shadowing. Shadowing is when you listen to a native speaker and repeat what they say in real time, mimicking their tone, pace, and pronunciation. It forces your brain to stay sharp, to process English quickly, and to respond without hesitation. You can shadow podcasts, speeches, or even scenes from movies. It's challenging, but it's one of the fastest ways to improve your thinking to speaking connection. The golden rule: start small. Let me pause here and say this. You don't have to do everything at once. Pick just one or two techniques from today. Start small. Practice them daily, even if it's just for 5 minutes. Thinking in English is like training a muscle. The more consistently you use it, the stronger it gets. Don't wait for the perfect moment, the perfect sentence, or the perfect lesson. Just start. Your brain will adjust. In the next section of our episode, we're going to talk about challenges, what to do when your mind goes blank, when you feel stuck, or when motivation fades. Because the truth is, every learner hits a wall sometimes. But with the right mindset and a few simple tricks, you'll push through those blocks and keep moving forward. So stay with me, and let's keep going on this journey together. Welcome back to English and Ease. I'm Emily, and in this final part of our episode, we're going to talk about something every learner experiences: challenges. You've got the techniques. You know the benefits of thinking in English. But what happens when it gets hard? What do you do when you feel stuck? When you can't find the right word? When you worry you're not making progress? Let me reassure you, this is normal. Every English learner, even the most fluent ones, hits a wall sometimes. But the difference between those who stop and those who succeed is how they respond to those moments. So let's walk through the most common struggles and how to overcome them, with calm, simple strategies. Challenge 1. I can't find the right word. This is probably the most common frustration I hear from learners. You're thinking in English, and suddenly you hit a blank. The word is on the tip of your tongue, but you just can't grab it. What should you do? Simplify. Don't freeze. Don't panic. Instead, rephrase. If you can't think of the word delicious, say, tastes very good. If you forget disappointed, say, not happy with the result. Fluency isn't about having every word. It's about keeping the conversation going. Even in your thoughts, that principle matters. This skill, paraphrasing, is one of the most useful academic and conversational strategies in any language. And it's something you can practice mentally every day. Challenge 2. Overthinking grammar. Another big one: overthinking every sentence in your head. You might catch yourself asking, wait, should it be past tense or present perfect? Is that preposition correct? What's the plural of that word again? Listen, it's great to care about grammar. But when you're thinking in English, the goal is flow, not perfection. Don't interrupt your thought just because a grammar rule feels fuzzy. Instead, let the sentence finish. Later, you can look it up, correct it in your mind, and move forward. This process actually mirrors what language researchers call noticing. When you realize you've made a mistake and correct it yourself, the learning becomes deeper and longer lasting. So yes, mistakes are not your enemy. They are learning moments in disguise. Challenge 3. I'm afraid I'll forget my native language. This one surprises people, but it's real. Some learners worry. If I focus too much on English, will I lose my native language? Let me give you some peace of mind. Your brain is fully capable of handling bilingual or even multilingual systems. In fact, learning to switch between languages actually strengthens your executive function, the part of your brain that helps with focus and memory. So no, thinking in English won't erase your first language. It will only add to your skill set. Language is not a replacement. It's an expansion. Challenge 4. I don't have time. I get it. Life is busy. Work, school, family, responsibilities. It's hard to find time for extra practice. But here's the good news. Thinking in English doesn't require extra time. You can do it while you live your life. In the shower. I have a busy day today. I hope the traffic isn't bad. On the bus. That woman is wearing a beautiful dress. While cooking, I'm cutting onions. I need more garlic. Even just 5 minutes of mental English per day adds up. It's not about finding time, it's about using moments. Challenge 5. Staying consistent. This is where many learners struggle. They start strong, labeling things, narrating thoughts, journaling, and then they stop. Maybe motivation fades. Maybe life gets in the way. Maybe you just forget. Here's what I want you to remember. Small steps every day matter more than big steps once in a while. So here are a few tips to stay consistent. Set a timer. 5 minutes. That's it. Think in English for just 5 focused minutes a day. Use habit stacking. Connect English thinking with an existing habit. For example, after I brush my teeth, I'll think in English for 2 minutes. Track your progress. Keep a tiny calendar or app where you check off each day you practice. Visual progress can be incredibly motivating. Celebrate wins. Every time you think a full sentence in English, recognize it. You're making progress. Consistency doesn't come from willpower. It comes from systems and support. Real stories, real progress. Let me share a couple of real-life stories with you. People who've trained their minds to think in English, just like you're doing now. One of my students, Mia, is from Vietnam. She used to struggle with speaking because she translated every sentence in her head. She felt slow and unsure. But then she started using some of the techniques we talked about. Labeling objects, talking to herself, journaling in English. At first, it felt strange, but after a few months, something amazing happened. One day, she was walking home and realized she was thinking entirely in English, without even trying. She told me, "It felt like English finally belonged to me." Another student, Ahmed, worked in construction. His job didn't require English, but he wanted to move abroad. So during his lunch breaks, he would think in English, describing his tools, his tasks, the weather. Eventually, he applied for a job in the UK. In his interview, he spoke fluently and confidently, and he got the job. Thinking in English was his private training ground. It gave him the courage and skill to take that leap. These are real people, just like you. And if they can do it, so can you. Final words of encouragement. Before we wrap up, I want you to know this. Thinking in English is not about doing it perfectly. It's about doing it daily. Even if you only manage a few thoughts today in English, that's a win. That's growth. That's forward motion. Your journey won't look like anyone else's, and that's okay. But if you keep showing up, if you keep practicing, if you keep giving yourself permission to try, English will stop feeling like a second language. It will start feeling like a second home. Quick review. Let's recap. Here's a short recap of what we've covered in this episode. Why thinking in English matters. It boosts fluency, confidence, and comprehension. Common myths debunked. You don't need to be fluent first. You don't need to live in an English-speaking country. And no, you won't forget your native language. Practical strategies. Label your environment. Narrate your day. Journal. Use new vocabulary in your thoughts. And immerse yourself in English media. Challenges and solutions. Keep it simple. Embrace mistakes. Use time wisely. And build daily habits. And most importantly, be patient. Language learning is not a race, it's a rhythm. If this episode helped you in any way, I'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment, share your story, or tell us what technique you're going to try first. Your journey matters, and your voice matters. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to English in Ease for more lessons just like this, where we slow down, go deep, and grow together. I'm so proud of you for taking this step. Keep practicing. Keep thinking in English. And remember, we're here with you, every step of the way. Until next time, take care and stay connected to your English. Bye for now.